Hi and welcome to a new video on my channel. I'm Andrea and today I will show you how to make the Tunisian simple stitch. This video is part of a series in Basics in Tunisian Crochet, in which I will show you how to make the basic stitches and stitch combinations that are most commonly used, and that will provide a foundation for you to create more complicated projects in the future. Tunisian simple stitch is the most basic stitch in Tunisian crochet, and it is used worldwide in a variety of projects and types of stitch combinations. You can use it on its own to create a grid-like fabric where you have these vertical and horizontal lines that you can see in my sample here, and you can use it as is, for example in baby blankets. I have this baby blanket pattern in my shop and it uses the Tunisian simple stitch in the body of the blanket. You can create embroidery on top of this fabric because it has almost square stitches. You can use it for color work, for example for graphgans, where you change the color within the row and use bobbins, or you can make a host of other types of projects like interlock, corner to corner, or in the round. There are so many projects that use the simple stitch and that look amazing, and I hope you can explore them. I will make videos for these techniques in the future, so make sure to subscribe if you want to see them. What you need for this tutorial is a hook. You can use a regular hook and some yarn. The hook should be 2 to 3 millimeters larger than the hook regularly used for your chosen yarn. So for example, if you use a size 3 yarn, you should use 6 millimeter hook. If you have a size 4 yarn, a 7 or 8 millimeter hook. And you should start with something thicker so that you can see the stitches well. So let's get started. To begin the Tunisian simple stitch, we first need a foundation row. To learn how to make the foundation row, please check out my previous video in which I show you 4 different methods on creating this foundation row with as many stitches as you need. In this example, I made a foundation row with 11 stitches. The first one we don't count. We have 10 main stitches in the pattern and we have the last stitch at the end. So if you don't know how to make a foundation row for Tunisian crochet, please check out that video that I linked in the description and in the cards, and then come back here to learn how to make the Tunisian simple stitch. To make the Tunisian simple stitch, all you need to do is insert the hook behind the vertical bar of the next stitch. We yarn over and pull up a loop. We leave this loop on the hook and we continue picking up loops in the following stitches. We insert the hook behind the vertical bar of the next stitch, yarn over, pick up a loop. You can do the yarn over with the yarn tensioner or with the hook. I usually like to make it a fluid motion with both hands and to help my hook hand pick up the loop without changing too much the position of the loops on the hook. What is important for you to keep in mind is that when you pick up the loop, you want to keep even tension in the yarn. You don't want to yank on it and you don't want to yank on the hook either. You want the loop to be the same height as your hook so that it glides easily on the hook, but there's no gap beneath it. If you create this gap, then you will have different heights of stitches and there will be holes in your work. So make sure when you work that you have even tension. Let's finish this row. As you can see, the stitches glide back and forth as I create the next stitch. So make sure that they are loose enough so that they can do this movement. And when you're holding the hook with your dominant hand, make sure that it's not gripping tightly like this, because in larger projects you'll be holding onto the hook while there are stitches moving along it. So you need to have a light grip on the hook. At the end of the row, depending on your pattern, you might have to work behind the 2 vertical bars of the last stitch. If you are working a rectangle, normally you insert the hook behind these 2 vertical bars, yarn over, and pick up a loop. This is the end of the row, and now we will begin the return pass that takes off all of these loops from the hook. We first chain 1. This creates the beautiful edge on your work. And then we yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over, pull through 2 until you have 1 loop left on the hook. This is the first row of Tunisian simple stitches completed, and I will show you variations. The first variation that I want to show you is the one made with the yarn under. So instead of yarning over like this, we yarn under. We bring the yarn beneath the hook and in front of it, and then pull up a loop. We can do this for the whole row, and you will notice that the stitches have a different look to them, but they are not very different from the original Tunisian simple stitches made with yarn overs. At the end of the row, insert the hook behind the 2 vertical bars at the end, and you can yarn under, and then chain 1, yarn over, pull through 2 to the beginning of the row to return. And you will notice that it's a bit more difficult to pull through 2 now because of the way that the stitches are aligned on the hook. If you look at the stitches now, they look different. So this is one variation. And in the next row, you can also continue working behind the vertical bar of the next stitch. Let's make the regular simple stitches again to see what happens. At the end of the row, you see that there's not much difference between the first row and the second row of Tunisian simple stitches, despite the second row being made with yarn unders. As you can see, this fabric tends to curl a lot because there's a lot less yarn on the front of the work than on the back. On the back, you have a lot more yarn, so it needs to find a space where to exist, so it makes the fabric curl towards the front of the work. I have 2 videos showing you how to remove the curl in Tunisian crochet, but now I will show you another variation of the simple stitch that has less curl. For this version, we don't work only behind the front vertical bar, but also behind the front horizontal bar. So insert the hook behind these 2 bars, yarn over and pick up a loop. Again, insert behind the 2 bars, yarn over, pick up a loop. We continue like this till the end of the row. And at the end of the row, we insert the hook behind the 2 vertical bars, pick up a loop, chain 1, yarn over, pull through 2. Now let's make one more row, like this. And as you can see, on the front of the work, you don't see much of a difference with regards to the way the stitches look. They all look the same. You have the vertical bar and the horizontal chains in the back. But if you let the fabric relax, you will see that the bottom has a lot more curl than the top. If you make more rows with the 2 different ways of making the stitches, you will notice the difference in the curl. In the next video, I will show you how to make the purl stitch and then how to combine the 2 to create a non-curling fabric that works great for creating edges around fabrics that tend to curl like this. And then we will continue with other stitches as well. So that's it for this tutorial. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you learned something new. And if you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up and check out the other videos that I have on the channel with Tunisian crochet tutorials and patterns. And please subscribe to the channel and ring the notification bell if you want to be notified by YouTube when I post a new video in this series or about Tunisian crochet in general. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye!